Welcome to Talks with Lakeisha. I am your host, Dr. Lakeisha James. Today's show will be something you will not want to miss. I know you all heard of ropes, bondage, etc., but today my guest will school us on his philosophy behind roping. My guest is Craig, Just Craig. Just Craig is a rope philosopher and conscious coach guiding individuals towards spiritual enlightenment and embodied awareness. His message bridges sensuality and spirituality, inviting others to explore connection, energy, and the sacred language behind the body. Welcome, Craig. Just Craig, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing really good. Just getting back from uh one of my events that I'm hosting. I've been teaching and it's kind of always interesting. I'm always teaching it, whether it's about being conscious in your body
Mhm.
or it's about uh technology. So
Oh, you're
right
a tech
now,
guy too.
yes.
Interesting. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm so excited to hear more about this roping that I've heard about. So let's go ahead and get started. So, what's the backstory on the philosophy behind roping? Your philosophy.
So like the backstory really is like when I started this,
Mhm.
I started because of the aesthetics. I love the way that rope looks on bodies and how people look in bondage.
Hmm.
But as I got into it, I really saw a lack of representation, a lack of people who look like me, a lack of people who look like people I found attractive. And so I started to learn for myself and learn from my community. Um, but a shift happened when I started to like marry this idea of rope and surrender with spirituality and transcendence. When that happened, it was like it was like, oh, I found my way. Is you ever be
Wow.
in a situation where you listen, you kind of just listen to yourself and
Hmm.
you just fall into step, and next thing you know, like every step you take feels like it was meant for you to be there. It's like it's
Wow.
like it's like a groove, perfectly aligned with where you're headed. And that's what it felt like when I married the two.
I love that. I love that. Now, you're known as the rope philosopher. Tell me more about that. Your love for roping that you've already stated.
Well, I don't even know why I got the term broke philosopher. I back in I think it was to I got laid off from work.
Hmm.
And always been a person that was very heavily involved in my work. Just like I work, 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 and then I play hard, right? But I work myself to the bone. But when I got laid off, I had this opportunity to rest and like redefine myself and reallocate my life energy in a way. And and so I just started to like think deeply about I was doing. And that's how this like spiritual shift happened. And I started to just like codify my philosophy and and it started as a just a collection of like teachings, rituals. Like sometimes it kind of give a little bit of a sermon. I'm a Southern boy,
Oh, wow.
but I've just been living and teaching. And
I love
some people
that.
find it uh helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of us, we get laid off and we just have like a aha moment, like, okay, what am I doing now? What's my next move? Because everything
Right.
happens for a reason. Like, so
And
what
it's
was this reason?
sometimes I really think that I I had done all of the things in my career that I had set
Mhm.
out to do by the time I had set out to do it, right? And like I was like nearing to the point of like that, where you're like oh, I'm gonna be this by this time. I'm gonna do this by this time. And like you set your goals high and you set them lofty and
Hmm.
but no one prepares you for when you like succeed. And now what? Like,
That
do you
part.
go high? Do you go higher? But like I worked myself to the bone to get to where I am. And I was dog tired. So it just came down to like a shift in perspective.
I like that. I like that because I know when I started I know before we started recording, I was sharing with you what I did before I started class with Keisha. In 2015, I had my last child, and I was like, I don't want to go back to work. It's like, what am I to do now? Because I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. But I think that was a great time at that moment. It's like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm going to do before I end back up in corporate America. And I said, hey, I'm just going to start event planning and interior design business. And I started, I was married then, and I had the support and I had the experience and the knowledge of events because I had been planning events since 2009. So I'm like, that's the perfect time. So that seemed like it was a perfect time for you to kind of like you said, reevaluate, think about what's next, and get into something
What's
that you enjoy
next?
doing.
And it's like so hard these days to like truly find something that you truly enjoy. Like it's not
Yes.
a passion for you. And like when I first started doing rope and I started doing it like as meditation, as like practice, um, you know, we live in this grind culture where everyone is like, oh, you love that so much, you should make money off of it. You
Mm-hmm.
should, you should, you should like try to attract a bigger audience for it. And it's just like, I'm doing this for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is something I love. So I was in the early part of my career, I was really reluctant to like step out of that phase of like, hey, this is my hobby, this is what I love, to a larger space.
Mm-hmm. And not knowing there were already people waiting for you, right? Because only you can do what you do. Only you were chosen to do what you do.
I'm hopefully hopefully with the classes that I'm teaching, that won't be true for long.
Okay, okay. Now, in your book, you reveal how the rope becomes more than a physical tool. You know, I got to ask this question. How
Yeah.
can you elaborate on that? Or what was the revelation that made you come up with the rope is just more than a physical tool?
So like when I first started bondage, right?
Hmm.
I could feel things, but like you're so out of touch with your feelings that you just kind of ignore it. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, whatever. Uh, but as I continued to feel these things, I realized and I started to explore like this part of my spirituality. And I'm like, and I got really intentional about what I was doing, how I was doing it. I noticed what I was feeling was energy.
Hmm.
And so oftentimes people think of the rope as like something separate from themselves, but
Hmm.
truly the rope is an extension of my nervous system
Hmm.
and a bridge to yours.
Really?
Yeah.
That
So
is
we
interesting.
become connected. And that's why this is the beauty of the rope. And this is why I think that it's more than just a physical tool. Like there's like an energy transfer that happens when you tie and you be tied.
Hmm. That's interesting. Now, I know you mentioned spirituality earlier. How does your message bridge spirituality when it comes to roping?
So I always talk to people about this, but like uh what I think is I think everyone has this big hoopla of what spirituality means,
Hmm.
right? And it has to be defined in a certain way, but that's like the opposite of what spirituality means. That's religion. but spirituality is your personal journey, right?
Hmm.
And it's when you take that spirituality and that the things that you're doing transcend the reason that you're doing it. Like it could be you could have a spiritual moment just in the way that you prepare your coffee in the morning because
I
you
never
know
thought
that
about that. Hmm. That's interesting.
the way that you prepare this coffee, like you take your time with it. It's something that's every part of your daily routine. It's a
Hmm.
ritual. It has become more than just a cup of coffee for you. This is your peace. This is your starting your day out right. This is your like this is you setting intentions, right? What do you call that if not spirituality?
Hmm. That is a good question. I've never really sat down and you just course the coffee thing. Listen, I'm a coffee drinker. Ever since I had my last child, because I was older when I had her, I've been drinking coffee and I have to have my coffee in the morning. So it's like a routine. It's like my body needs it. Just like I am a spiritual person. I do have an intimate relationship with God and I need him, like the air I breathe. And it's like for you to actually define it like that, it's like you just really never think about it like that from a cup
Will
of
you
coffee. That is interesting.
and
So
if you
interesting.
can And if you can have that much of a spiritual moment with a cup of coffee, imagine what you can do with two people and some rope.
Interesting. This is good, Craig. Just pray. This is really good. This is really good. Wow. Now, do you host live events when it comes to roping?
I do. So I host uh, these performances where I like invite people to just witness like this moment of intimacy, this moment of passion, this moment of connection. Because I think a lot of that is missing from a lot of the media that we consume. It's a lot of it is performative, but when I perform, it really just be me and my model, or me and the person I'm connecting with,
Mm-hmm.
and we have that experience. But then I also have events where I teach. I have and I have events where the one coming up on the 20th, where I just invite people who I think are cool, who I just want to hear them talk about the things that they're as equally as passionate about as like I love rope, right? It's like the best thing to me. And I know people who love what they do just like I love rope. And it's just being around that passion, hearing someone really speak to their passion.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to embrace that. So I create spaces uh like reignite intimacy.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So, what is your ideal audience for your events?
People who come open-minded,
Open-minded.
people who come open-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people who are just frustrated with doing everything that you told you were supposed to do for everything in your life to work out right, and it's still not.
Hmm.
Right? I think that once you get to a certain point, it becomes harder to keep justifying to yourself, let me put on this face even though I don't feel like this. Let me deny my feelings even though like they're like burning up inside me. Let me push harder even though I'm like desperately tired. And then when when those people find me and I give them and I show them that there's another way, it's like fireworks went off. It's like their eyes had opened. It's like taking those blinders off the horses and
Hmm.
they just like go free. And that's beautiful to me. I believe that's healing.
I love it. I love it. No, I did see one of your videos where I saw a woman in a rope and you guys are having a conversation. How do you make them feel so comfortable being in a rope and having a conversation with you? And do you and like is there like certain things that you talk about to make them feel more comfortable? Because for me to be weird, like wait a moment, in a rope and we're having a conversation.
Yeah. So a rope scene happens long, long before a rope ever touches skin.
Hmm.
Before the rope touches skin, we've had conversations. We talked about boundaries. We talked about limits. We talked about we've talked about what you're looking for from this scene, what the intentions you're going into this scene with, what the mindset you need to have to achieve the goals that you want to achieve with this scene. We and why we do so much talking is because safety doesn't live in like locked doors and
Hmm.
checklists. Safety lives in your nervous system. What I'm doing is I'm disengaging all of those fight and flight loops that we go into so that when you're in that moment, you can be here now.
In the present time.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have like a consultation type thing before guys actually do the roping.
Yeah.
That's
And I also have like alignment. I seek alignment.
mhm.
So like I don't try to work with everyone because not everyone is looking for what I have to offer.
This is true.
And I don't particularly seek out people. I let people come to me. And the reason that is because I went to this like healer retreat once, and one of the like people said this, and it always stays with me. He said, "The doctor never comes to your house. You have to make an appointment."
This is true.
And the appointment is important because that means that you're open to being changed.
That's
All I do,
powerful.
all I do is resonate the frequency of change. You have to accept it.
That is a powerful statement. That is so true. So you have me seeing a different side of this now. This is really interesting on why you do what you do and how you do what you do. Now, what are some assumptions that people have about ropes? I know you and I was discussing that before we started recording.
Yeah, of course. It hurts, that it's rough, that it's sexual,
Hmm.
that it's foreplay that will lead into more. That um that they're too big for it, that they're not flexible enough. They but one of the big things I think, especially for people of our skin color
Hmm.
and our like complexion and our history and our lineage and our ancestry, is that bondage at, is a deep ingrained part of our people's history and our people's story.
This is true. Absolutely.
And so to take the power back from that is so deeply fulfilling for us, to like no longer be forced into bondage, but
Hmm.
to surrender. Because like bondage and surrender are two different things. There is power in surrender. There is no power in
Yes,
bondage.
absolutely. I agree with that. Interesting. So what type of ropes do you use? You like recycle ropes? You have like a
So
thousand ropes?
I have thousands of ropes. I have a wide variety. So in my private sessions, I use what's called hemp. Now, you've heard of hemp oil, and you
Hmm.
know all about its medicinal properties.
Yes.
And you've seen it like relax bruised muscles. You've
Hmm.
seen it be used to like open up your lungs to help you breathe better, and use all kinds of ways. People
Hmm.
put it on their tongue to help with indigestion, all types of stuff. Some people put it in their hair to help it grow, all types of stuff. Well, I use hemp rope and I anoint my hemp rope with sacred oil, essential oils, right? Depending on that consultation, that conversation that we were talking about before. So you telling me that you need rest? Okay. Well, my hemp rope is anointed in lavender.
Yes, that does relaxes you.
And so now you can't move. So your body has stopped looking for what's next and stopped looking for threats.
Hmm.
That that lavender is slowly being absorbed by your skin. That hemp is the smell of the hemp is filling your nostrils with this aromatic experience.
Hmm.
And so it's like a full body treatment of just like peace.
Peace. Interesting. So I have a visual. That's pretty cool. Now, do you believe that roping redefines the way people experience intimacy, energy, and embodiment?
I do, because it forces you to slow down. It
Slow down.
forces you to take notice. It forces you to be intentional. It forces you into mindfulness.
Interesting.
Because
I
like
like that.
you can't just tie somebody up. You'll do it wrong. You can't do
Wow.
it quick.
That's like a wrong way to tie somebody up.
Yeah. You have you have nerves in your body. You
That's
have
very true.
you have blood cells. You have like places on your body that can be uh hurt like grievously.
That is true.
So you have to be intentional. You have to be mindful. You have to be safe. You have to be knowledgeable to do this. Of In the world of kink, the vast majority, the overwhelming uh number one in kink related accidents is rope. And it comes from lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of caution, lack of preparation, lack of like a plan of what happens when shit does go wrong. Because it
So it's
will.
like an art. Roping is like an art from your
It's a,
perspective. Wow. Hmm.
now, could you imagine if your spiritual practice was your art?
That
How
part.
much would you get into your spiritual practice?
That part right there. That is interesting. Roping is an art because that's what I'm seeing. Is like from what you're describing and being so detailed. It's like so that's just really an art.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it goes even deeper because like we could talk about like your physical safety, but like
Hmm.
rope is was what I call a somatic experience, which means that it touches on everything from your heart to your gut to your mind to the way that you speak or what you say and what you don't say to how what you feel and you don't feel to
Hmm.
what uh, emotions are left un what's the word what emotions are left, oh my God, uh, what emotions are left abandoned,
Hmm.
what emotions are.
That's been suppressed too, because we as
Yeah.
individuals, we suppress emotions, suppress feelings, just
Because
suppress.
like sometimes we are like encouraged to like partake in the light and the bright and
Hmm.
to ignore the shadow and the dark. But you are a whole person. You can no one can be all light and no one can be all dark. We must find balance.
Yeah.
And and that comes from refusing to be at war with yourself.
Hmm. So during one of your performances, has anyone ever like just started crying profusely from emotions or things that
Frequently,
it happens a lot.
a lot. Because oftentimes what happens is like, you get into like safety, like I said, safety is not a checklist. It's not locked doors. It's not a conversation that you had. It's not the friends that you're around. Safety is your nervous system relaxing out of like a hyper arousal into a hypo arousal,
Hmm.
right? That shift for some of us never comes. We're always in a state of hyper arousal, whether it's our job, whether it's our
Hmm.
kids, whether it's our lovers, whether it's our friends, whether it's our work. Our entire society is built around this hyper state of arousal. And then on top of that, we have more access to information. And the things that you ingest, they they affect us mentally, even if we think they don't. Even if we think we are numb to it, you're not numb to it. Your body has a reaction to it.
Yeah.
Your gut has a reaction to it.
Hmm.
And so we slowly start to divorce ourselves from ourselves. But rope marries us back to each other again. It forces you back into the shell that you're in. And it
Wow.
makes you have to deal with those things that you've put to the side.
Wow. That's something like meditation too. It's like you can be just meditating, all of a sudden you just start just everything that has been suppressed that you put on the back burner just come to the forefront and just full of emotions. That's interesting. Is there anything new you're working on?
Yeah, so I'm releasing my book. Um,
Congratulations.
this is going to be my first time making a book. I didn't ever thought that I would be one of those people. Like, you always see books and you read books and you're like, oh my God, this was so like how this book changed my life, or this was so important to where I was at that time. But like I never knew the process.
Mm,
I never knew the process, and I didn't really know if I had anything I wanted to say because, like I said, like you hear you all the time.
hmm.
Um, so like what you say is not special, but like then I get into conversations where I tell somebody um some of my philosophy, some of my understandings that I've gathered through like the experiences and the path that I walk. And I realized what sounds common to me ain't common for everyone. So I wrote
This
a
is
book.
true. This is definitely true. And everyone has a story. It's like we've all been through something. We've all experienced something where someone needs to hear it. Somewhere in the world, someone needs to hear it. I like it. I like it. Well, thank you, Craig, for sharing your
Thank
different
you.
side of roping with me and my audience. I think they're going to look at roping in a different perspective now.
Well, I hope so.
Absolutely. And again, my name is Dr. Lakeisha James, the host of Talks with Lakeisha, where you get real conversations and real information. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.